Hi, it's Henry from Henry Sports Media. I'm recording another video on the channel. And most of my videos have been sports rankings, playing the game shellshockers.io, and you might see another video of shellshockers.io very shortly on the channel, so get ready for that. But this video is just going to be about a recent MLB thing that happened, and that was that Albert Pujols was released from the Los Angeles Angels. So that's pretty big news, and I just felt like I should make a video about it because, he's one of the greatest of all time, and in my opinion, he's the best player in the league right now. So it just seemed like a fair thing to do, to give him the respect of making a video, not only just about what just happened, but also just his legacy as a player, because he's one of my favorite players of all time, and I think he's one of the better players of all time. And then also, I might just go over a few other sports news that I think of, but it's really just going to be centered around Albert Pujols. Albert Pujols, he's been on the Angels, I believe, since 2011, maybe 2012. He's been there for like 10 years. Obviously, the best parts of his career were on the St. Louis Cardinals. That's when he was winning MVPs and stuff. But he had a 40 home run season here on the Angels. He did some other stuff there. And it's not like he had a crappy career in Los Angeles. He's been really bad the past few years, but he had some 100 RBI seasons, some 20, 30 home run seasons. You know, he was respectable. He wasn't a under-average player, I'd say, if in all the years combined, right? And it's obviously kind of a sad story of his decline and how the Angels gave him so much money and he didn't really live up to it, but I do think that it's fair to note that it wasn't like he played like shit. He just did not play like an MVP, right? And now he's playing like shit, but up to 2016, 2017, he was still a good player. He was still a valuable player. So what I know, is that they released him quite recently, a few days ago, and a team that's interested is the Chicago White Sox. But that's probably not going to work out just because they have Jose Abreu and Yerman Mercedes taking up the DH and first base spot. So those are the positions that Pujols played, and apparently the Angels dropped him because Ohtani's going to lock down that DH position. There's no way he gets it from them. And then Jared Walsh is playing first base, and he's playing it really, really well. So there's just no room in the starting lineup for Pujols now that Walsh is emerging as a starter-level talent, and Ohtani is continuing to play great. So they're just thinking, where do we put Pujols, right? And they don't have a good spot. There's no reason to have him on his team. He's not a good player. They have better players at those positions. So they just didn't see a reason to keep him, and they got rid of him. So that's basically what happened, and yeah, I don't know other than the White Sox teams that are interested, but I think that hopefully he re-signs with his team that he's known most for, which is the St. Louis Cardinals. I hope he re-signs with them. I hope he has a retirement game, maybe a little bit of a retirement tour. I mean, he deserves so much respect. Look, this is the machine. His hitting numbers, I think they're some of the best of all time. You know, and I just feel like this is a guy who needs to be acknowledged as one of the game's greats. And he is. So, yeah, I hope he gets re-signed with the Cardinals, and that's how his career ends out. He's played, I think, 20 seasons, maybe 21 in the league. He came into the league, I think, in 2001. And, he's a 3-time MVP, World Series champion, many times Silver Slugger, 2-time Gold Glove, many All-Stars, I think 11. The list goes on. He's done a ton. He's a really great player. And I mean, the Angels probably were thinking, we're giving this guy so much money, and he's not giving us that much success, right? Albert Pujols, the most money he ever has made came in his last season. And it was very far from his best season, right? I think that's important to note. He's making the most money of his career at the end of his career when he sucks. And that's because the Angels gave him a really ridiculous contract that's backfiring on them. I think one of the reasons why the Angels are never able to win is even though they have the star power like Trout and Ohtani and Pujols, they're giving those guys so much money that they don't have enough money to build up a really good supporting cast. And I feel like a baseball team, it is the ultimate team sport. You have to have a good supporting cast. You can have Rendon, Ohtani, and Trout. Those are three incredible players, right? And you can still not really be a contending team. And that's what the Angels are, because who else do you have pitching, hitting? There's just not much there. And it's not a one-man show. You only can bat 1/9 of the time. You can only pitch 1/5 of the time, right? There's just not that much you can do as an individual on a baseball team, and I think that's where the Angels went wrong. But yeah, they're giving this guy $30 million to bat 220 and hit maybe 20 home runs, and he's doing that when he has a starting role. And 20 home runs, you may think, oh yeah, that's good, right? But that's good when you're not, when you're not playing 160 games and doing pretty much nothing else. He doesn't have the speed to hit even doubles, right? So it's pretty much singles and homers. And, maybe 30 singles, 20 home runs, a 220 BA, 80 RBIs. And that's just for batting behind Mike Trout, right? And Shohei Ohtani and Anthony Rendon. That's not very good. Look, so, he's a bad player. He's an under-average first baseman at this point. And, when you're paying him probably the most out of any first baseman in the league, and you're not even going to start him anymore, you want to get rid of him, right? When they were starting him, it was one thing, but now he's going to get minimal PAs. He's got injuries, which are also going to limit his PAs, and he's not playing well. So there's really no reason to keep him for the Angels. And the only reason why they would keep him is because of the star power, right? Now you have a player who has won MVPs, has done so much, and that's going to attract fans. And this is a team that has sometimes struggled. They're in Los Angeles, and so is the Dodgers, who are one of the most exciting teams in baseball and the best team in baseball. So they were probably thinking for Pujols, really the only reason why you would want to keep him is because of that star power. But if you're going to be benching him, then you're not even going to see him every day. Why would fans go to these games, right? So it's just, it makes sense from a strategical standpoint. It makes complete sense. Pujols just isn't very valuable anymore. But, I just do think that it's a little bit unfair. I feel like they should have given him more notice. They should have given him more of a chance to, wrap up his career in a more nice way, or at least his career with the Angels. And I really don't know the story in terms of retirement. Look, this guy's in his 21st season. He's over 40 years old, and he's not being productive anymore. He's got tons of injuries. And there's really no reason to keep on playing, right? He's had his best years. He's submitted his legacy. He's put himself in a position where he's got enough money that he can sit down and retire and be fine. That's not a concern. Definitely. I don't think it's really a concern for any MLB player, but I just felt like pointing that out. And then, he's done enough, right? He recently passed Willie Mays, and I just don't think he's going to be able to catch Alex Rodriguez, because he would have to have, like, a 2019 season twice, right? And there's no way with the injuries. He's not going to have a starting role on a team. I just don't think that's going to happen. There's no team that's going to sign him to be a starter with that type of contract and really care about that. It's not going to happen. So he's not going to pass A-Rod, unfortunately. He's not going to make the 700 club. Those things aren't going to happen. And what he's done so far and the amount of home runs he's hit is incredible. But right now, here's what he's doing. He's plummeting his percentile stats. His average is now under 300 for a career, right? His OBP, his OPS is well under 950 by now. If you look at those first 10 seasons, he was on pace to be the GOAT, and people thought he was going to be the GOAT. And he's really dropped off, right? And all he's doing now is just hurting his statistics, and hurting his legacy. You're only as good as your worst. I don't necessarily believe that, but it is a pretty famous saying. You're only as good as your worst. And if you're only as good as your worst, Albert Pujols is not very good, because his worst is pretty bad. Now, his best is pretty good, but his worst is also pretty bad. So, for Pujols, I definitely do think that it might be time to hang up the cleats. It's just, there's not much more he can get out of his career. And I know that's unfortunate. And this guy loves playing baseball, right? And I feel like ultimately that's the reason why he's been dragging out these terrible seasons year after year after year. He's on a bad team. There's really no excitement for him. It's probably just because, this is baseball, right? And this is the sport he loves. This is the sport he's played. You think about it. He's played baseball for 20 years at the major league level. He's played baseball 10 years before I was born. He was playing baseball. Well, not quite 10, but around there, right? I mean, that's crazy, you know? Like that's absolutely insane that this guy was playing baseball in the year 2000, right? I think that's I think that's just sometimes you look over a stat and you see the stat sheet and you see these charts and these rows and you're just like, oh, there's a year, there's a year here, there's a year there, and you don't quite realize that this person, whoever you're looking at, they've been playing baseball for, a really big portion of a lifetime. So he's been playing this game for an incredibly long time, and he obviously loves this game. That's the reason why he's playing it. And I think that it's just he doesn't care about a legacy. He doesn't care about putting these bad seasons down. I'm not inside Pujols' head. I might be completely wrong. But I think that he just loves this game, and even if he's not very good at it anymore, he still loves playing it, right? And yeah, so I hope he gets re-signed. I hope he gets a contract with the Cardinals. Finishes his career there. Yeah, and I mean that's kind of the most I can ask of it. He's one of my favorite players, and it's a shame to see this be the presumable end of his career. But it's still it doesn't take away from how amazing he was at the beginning of his career, and I still think that's really the true embodiment of who this guy is. One of the greatest players of all time, in my opinion, top 30, maybe even top 25. And yeah, I mean, for Pujols, this is a great career. I hope it continues. I don't think you should go sign with a team other than the Cardinals and play a few more bad years, right? Because that just doesn't make a lot of sense. But I do think that he should be recognized as a great Angels player because he played there for so long. He's probably got like 250 career home runs as an Angel, which is almost as much as a guy like Justin Upton, right? Who's thought of very highly in the Angels community. So, he still has a pretty good legacy with the Angels. I know there's been some bad years, but he's done some good stuff there. And yeah, I mean, in the end, I just think this is a great player, and if this is the end of his career, it's not necessarily a pretty ending, but it doesn't take away from what he's done already. And if this isn't the end of his career, I wish him the best. I wish him success, but I would say, this should definitely be the last year. There's just no reason to play any longer. So that's all I've got to say. I hope you enjoyed this video. And that's it. All right, bye.